Currently 7:35 p.m. I'm going to show you what are demons who are group stalking in the hallway, pointing your head out the door and to open and close it. This is a method of crossing the path of where my body is physically located. This just happened seconds ago. It's 7:35 p.m. right now. It is still 7:35 p.m. I just captured this at 7:35 in 1 second. This is again the demons that are surrounding room 306. That would be 304. And what is occurring is that I'm opening up the door. There's a lot happening at the same time in the specific environment where you are looking at the impossible light activity that surrounds. That's giving context regarding what are demons who are group stalking. This is impossible light activity in the sky space, having nothing to do with what would be a cloudy day that covers up the fake sun. And again, I'm giving a natural explanation for what is entirely demonic, because in doing so, you're understanding what is under all circumstances of the supernatural occurrence, that the sun being covered up is going to create this light activity in the sky space, and the fact that the sun is already documented being present, rising and setting at the same hotel, which is where I'm at 9750 Key Point. This is literally engineered light in the sky space where the light source is covered up, and I've already shown the fake sun that's setting at the same time, maintaining presence and alignment with my person inside of this hotel room well after 6 p.m. And that's what I'm talking about in this video that I captured at 7:01, where the entity is sounding sirens. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that.
My dictator.
Okay, so that's criminal summoning, the audible activity, the use of the sirens, and what are demons doing with regard to elements of monitoring. It's light activity, relevant positioning, this is presence in the path, and audible activity. That's accomplished when a demon is operating an emergency vehicle. This is how the state is directly engaged in the satanic system, which is made up of elements engaging in group stalking. And the entity that is demon possessed also engages in what is revealing the mental illness of the entirely defeated entity. The personality of Satan is to engage in more of that which is already exposed. You're defeated because it's no longer a secret. You're defeated because I'm literally going to prosecute you in the natural for your demonic behavioral patterns, for your satanic bad behavior, which is violating the constitutional rights of an American citizen. So the entity will engage in criminal activity, and then as you document it, they are caught up in the cycle of evidence showing the pattern of conduct. And so this is what I captured at 7:01. The video ended at 7:12. This is to show you the specific environment where the parking lot lights are not on. That's by design. The parking lot lights come on, and during this video, this is light activity while the demon crosses path with the flashing of lights in the path, and then going backwards, this is demonic pacing in sync with the demons in the parking lot. They're pacing together with light activity while the state is sounding sirens and using lights. Group stalking with the people, it's criminal facilitation. This is literally the group stalking conduct by the people of the state and the state, while a massive amount of people are together engaging in group stalking, and it's also occurring online. Title 18 is what I'm referencing. And so this video is showing, and you can literally put it on mute and you will see the pattern of conduct repeat itself. Demons are engaging in a cycle of behaviors. It includes light activity, relevant positioning, audible activity. My voice makes up the audible activity element, but you can put it on mute because the entity is maintaining the elements at all times. This is what I captured in this video. And so the entity, again, the demon possessed, who make up San Luis Obispo County Fire, the entity that's exceedingly hostile, because what I continue to expose, and I will continue to expose, and I'm also going to speak to those who will be going to federal prison for their lawlessness. I'll put it delicately, their lawlessness that they show that while they're engaging in criminal surveillance and federal stalking, and that lawlessness is also satanic, which equals substantial recovery in civil court. So you'll see through this video, then the parking lot lights come on, and that's called light activity. So let's go back seconds before. The parking lot lights are off. The impossible light activity is in the sky space where you're looking at the red sky. Okay, that's just understanding that's not the product of any sunset. The sunset is never going to be at the same place where the sunrise is. That's how you know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Again, this is how you know that as a matter of fact, when you're looking at the evidence of federal stalking and monitoring. This is where the entity is engaging in elements. Sounding sirens is then understanding that's audible activity. Who's sounding those sirens? Those are demons that are in the position of fire departments and sheriff's departments in Hesperia, California. And they do so with regard to knowledge about what it is that's being documented while they're engaging in surveillance online. And so this is what's occurring, and I'm going through this because I'm going to show you who's group stalking in the hallway and engaging in federal stalking while the entity again sounds sirens was simultaneity to what is earthquake-like conduct that I'm experiencing in my room as I'm narrating over and over again, for example, on my podcast, and you're literally looking at it while a demon pokes their head out of the hotel room in room 304. That's called crossing a path. They are group stalking in the rooms while the demonic environment, which is terrorism as an entity, harassment as an entity, that is, again, you're already defeated because you're being documented, meaning you're going to be prosecuted, meaning the federal government already knows what you're doing. And then not only that, you're talking about what is civil damages and what is relevant for the enhancement of federal charges and sentencing with regard to punishing the bad behavior of the demon possessed who are engaging in criminal surveillance and federal stalking, because now it's just because you're mad. That's a psychopath. So this is what's relevant with regard to the repeating sound of sirens. There's no legitimate emergency in the specific environment. It's pursuant to what it is that I'm stating, what I'm doing, and a psychopath's hostility toward it. This is relevant positioning and light activity, and this is also recognizing demon possession while federal stalking is underway. The communication device is in hand, but that's not required in order to be engaged in the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking. Nonetheless, at 7:34 p.m., while inside of my hotel room, in the environment where you're looking at the impossible light activity, that's why I went through that, the street lamps come on, and then you will see the window panels appear upright on the walls inside of my hotel room. That's called light activity while all the lights in the parking lot come on. And those parking lots create shadows on the ground, right? The cars are the shape of the cars create a shadow beneath, but inside of the room, you've got the panel of the, this is all impossible light activity, and it's also very demonic. This is serving for elements of monitoring. The people in the rooms all around below and the demons stalking in the sky space. You already know based on the recent evidence of the LAPD, of the terrorist organization, the Pasadena Police Department, the San Diego Police Department, all of whom are engaging in, and not only that, it's the Sheriff's Department as well, group stalking in helicopters. So you already know what's going on in the sky space at all times. Okay, the same thing in Monrovia also. I was at the Monrovia Courtyard by Marriott stalking in helicopter, okay, in the specific environment. Okay, this is what's happening here. You're looking at light activity. You've got the shadow of the cars that are parked in the parking lot while street lamps come on, but then you've got this light activity, which is speaking to varying methods of light that has nothing to do with the street lamps. This is the same exact light activity you're seeing during the day under the fake sun. Okay, and I'm going through this because you're looking at the identical pattern of conduct. And so this is what I'm capturing at 7:34 p.m. in sync with the sensational activity that's being noted inside of my hotel room. At the same time, the entity is engaging in what is criminal summoning. Those are the demons that Shannon Dykes is in corrupt leadership over. This is a terrorist leader who's going to be plucked out of that position, engaging in domestic terrorism that is currently engaging in kidnapping, murdering, as opposed to any appropriate, there is no appropriate loss of life, but the appropriate exercise of authority of anyone affiliated with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department where there is a loss of life occurring because they're engaged in criminal summoning. That's why a pattern of conduct is underway in Hesperia, where the demons that are the Hesperia Police Department are engaged in the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring in the specific environment in sync with my physical movement and with regard to the retaliatory acts of a bunch of defeated and hostile demons who are group stalking at the Holiday Inn Express where the fake sun is rising and setting. And that's what's occurring at 7:34 p.m. There's earthquake-like conduct occurring. That's literally impossible. No one walking in the hallway is going to create any earthquake-like conduct, meaning my floor shaking and vibrating. Okay, the desk chair that I'm sitting in shaking and vibrating, or any rumbling, hurting, as though someone is not running on the ground, but literally their steps are heard like they're rumbling, running on the wall. That's that's called sensational and amplified audible activity. These are elements of monitoring, which is demonic. In the demonic environment, on my walls is impossible light activity where demons are surrounding and they're engaged in criminal summoning. And so while the demons are outside of the venue, creating what is amplified audible activity, pointing the finger directly at Shannon Dykes and demons such as Daniel R. Muncie, the entity is engaging in what is crossing path in the hallway here. And that's what I'm capturing at 7:34 so that you can see it. This is called crossing a path. This is a demon that's engaging in group stalking while I'm experiencing earthquakes inside of my hotel room, which is not explicable with regard to the specific. It's also context. This is the hallway window where the fake sun is present for the duration of at least from 7:53 in the morning until after 2:22 p.m. as a matter of documentation that any court, any person can look at, and the federal court's going to prosecute based on that. This is how an entity is engaged in criminal surveillance. This is a demon-possessed group stalker. Group stalking with the state who's sounding sirens and light activity, that's criminal facilitation of both this demon and the state. The San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the San Bernardino County Fire Department. The sirens is audible activity. The light activity on those emergency vehicles is light activity, and the entity is group stalking. You're talking about the entire population that's group stalking, all of them that are in relevant position, including Holiday Inn, the High Desert Gateway Shopping shopping center across the street, the Motel 6, across in the parking lot where demons are pacing around on foot and in vehicles, stalking, sitting in their vehicles, turning the vehicle lights on and off, which is the elements of monitoring, relevant positioning, light activity creation. The 76 gas station, the baker's located across the street. This is just the 7-Eleven where you're seeing the fake sun outside of that hallway window all day long. They're simultaneously being exposed and engaged in criminal summoning with the state. Okay, this criminal summoning, the iteration where the state's engaging the POC, coexists with what is sensational activity inside of my hotel room, where there's not an actual earthquake, but it's called the elements of monitoring, and it's also how demons engage in what is psychological torture. It's happening at Holiday Inn, therefore Holiday Inn, a group stalker engaged in domestic terrorism with the state, that provides the wealth of elements to group stalk with the demons who are maintaining presence in its hotel rooms, while they're, in other words, profiting while conspiring with the state to murder and kidnap someone. And you've got demons that are group stalking, pacing around outside of the hotel room in the specific environment while the entity sounds sirens, and while impossible light activity and sensational activity is occurring. The impossible light activity is the evidence of the supernatural. The sensational activity is the evidence of the supernatural. And it's also the evidence of the supernatural while demons that are not even in the building are capable of engaging in what is simultaneous conduct regarding what it is that I'm documenting. It's legally analyzed as retaliatory conduct by a bunch of demons who are engaged in Title 18 criminal activity. It's supernatural while they do so with simultaneity to what I'm uploading on the venue of the internet as well. Title 18 criminal activity is underway, and they're hostile because you're exposing sex offenders such as the demon in room 309, who you saw group stalking under the fake sun at 12:49 in the afternoon. That's the identical light activity that's on upright on my walls, and it's supposed to occur under the guise of parking lot lamps that are creating shadows of the vehicles that are on the ground, and yet you're looking at the pattern of the window upright inside of my hotel room with my shadow on both sides of my person, on all the walls. That's entirely demonic. It's a possible light activity. What's occurring in that environment is called relevant positioning, and I'm capturing it in the same moment. This is a demon that's crossing path, group stalking me outside of my room. These are the sex offenders that engage in stalking, opening and closing their hotel doors while they know what I'm doing inside of the hotel room, getting the criminal assistance of the demons surrounding all around the hotel, where the hotel has the fake sun rising and setting at the same address, where the entity has impossible light activity in the sky space, which is totally separate and distinct from covering up the fake sun with smoke or clouds. That red in the sky has nothing to do with anything naturally occurring. Okay, that's called light activity that you see in the sky space while a demon is group stalking. And doing so, this is keeping a woman under surveillance. This is the identification of a sex offender. And so is the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. So is the San Bernardino County Fire Department, who are engaging in audible activity while a demon just strolls by monitoring you. And this represents an entity, not just this person. Everybody in all the hotel rooms all around are maintaining relevant positioning in the hotel room, and that includes the demons that are inside of rooms, for example, in the hallways on the third floor, which I'm documenting on an ongoing basis, group stalking on the at the venue and adjacent across the hall, 310, 312, 311, 309, 306, 307. They're maintaining presence, and this is exactly what I'm documenting. So this is what an entity, everything that's happening on my phone, the demons that are right now at 7:48 opening and closing their doors, stalking with audible activity, that's revealing mental illness. This is what you're simultaneously learning about the concealed mental illness, which is never going to be mistaken ever again when you're aware of their pattern of conduct and the knowledge that they maintain while they're group stalking you. And a psychopath is stalking with some sort of method of noise while they are focused on you obsessively. That's a mentally deranged person that doesn't want you to know about it. And the fact that they are doing so with the government is also speaking to mental illness, and that's what fire departments are engaging, including San Luis Obispo County Fire. And they are group stalking in these rooms: 310, 307, 210, 207, 311, 309, 211, 208, 306, 209, 206, which represents being directly in front of me and on the sides and underneath me. That's just immediate presence. Demons strolling up and down the hallway all day, all night, group stalking, not doing anything else. They can pick up something outside of their door, like you saw that demon doing as I opened up my door. Doing so while the entity is sounding sirens, while you're experiencing earthquakes as though something is stomping above your head, and there's literally no room upstairs. I'm at the top floor. Even if, for example, at Town Place Suites by Marriott, where the entity was rising and setting the fake sun in Monrovia, California, nowhere near Hesperia and 9750 Key Point, which is also how you know that this is a group stalker and a demon-possessed one, because only the demon-possessed are group stalking. It's demonic activity. You're not engaging in demonic activity and you're not demon possessed. It is exclusive. And you're also surrounded in the demonic environment, and it's exclusive. When you're juxtaposing to what is only one sun, not 14, that was rising and setting in Monrovia Town Place Suites by Marriott in Monrovia, California, and what's happening now in the desert on the entrance side of the Holiday Inn facing Key Point, and the parking lot side of the same Holiday Inn facing the Motel 6 in the evening, even when it's covered up and engineered light is just appearing in the sky space, which is you're literally looking at the creative work of the demonic imitation that Satan is creating while group stalking is underway. So this is what's occurring while the entity is group stalking with the people. And doing so, this is a sex offender keeping a woman under surveillance, also aware of what's going on with her genitalia when she's engaged in personal private activity, doing so with both females and males. This is what the state of California is facilitating, and doing so secretly in violation of your constitutional rights. You don't have any privacy. They're also keeping you under surveillance online, and they're doing so and engaging in retaliatory acts, which is legally analyzed as a threat to your life, to your liberty, to your mental well-being as well, while they do so repeatedly as you document their psychotic behavior. There's no earthquake that's going to occur while you're walking. There's no earthquake. There's no stomping that's going to occur on the roof. All right. There's not even going to be earthquake if I was on the first floor and a person, not a demon. It's happening when they're demons. But ordinarily, I'm above someone else. I'm not creating any earthquakes while I'm walking around. And even if you want to state that I'm just running in place, that's not creating any earthquakes in somebody's hotel room beneath me. This is what demons are doing in the demonic environment. And so I want to make sure that I'm documenting that. It is Title 18 conduct. While I'm uploading evidence on the venue of the internet, the entity immediately repeated the use of sirens, which is pointing directly to demons who are to be plucked out of the positions. It includes Shannon Dykes, the county sheriff, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the captain that is over, this is a terrorist leader, not a legitimate captain, over the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and his name again is Jeremy Dean. This is a demon. All right, and the demons affiliated working for the Hesperia patrol station, they're all demon possessed. They're engaged in group stalking with the people, and that includes all these commercial actors whose pockets are going to be drained. And it goes beyond this, but I'm just showing you a snippet of how you're prosecuting the entity that is group stalking you, gang stalking. And so you're documenting the gang, and you're also going to drain the gang's pockets, and all the gang members are going to federal prison as well. That's what's happening. And Jeremy Dean is a gang member. This is a demon-possessed group stalker who's over a corrupt department, who's abiding by a pattern of conduct. That's how you know that, because this is a very specific, and it's even a supernatural pattern of conduct. And that's how you know what is no capability to mistake what it is that the entity is engaging in, and the knowledge that it maintains while it engages in it, and the impunity and malice with which it does so. This person is a group stalker, and Holiday Inn is fully engaging in the criminal conduct with it. It's currently 7:52 p.m. This makes up the evidence that I was documenting. And the sex offender in room 309, you can see her face very clearly. She represents San Luis Obispo County Fire. That entire department is a domestic terrorist, and so is the Sheriff's Department, the Police Department of San Luis Obispo County, because the entity has an intricate system underway. The demons of the Fire Department, which she represents, are fully engaged in the P.O.C., came to San Bernardino County to participate in it under the fake sun that's remaining over this hotel in Hesperia, laughing because it's pathetic, not because it's humorous, but it's pathetic. There's only one sun. So what is in the sky space in San Luis Obispo County, by the way? Because it's not the sun that's remaining outside of my window from morning until evening. So it's impossible that there would ever be a sun anywhere in San Luis Obispo County where the entity is maintaining what is the San Luis Obispo County is a domestic terrorist, and they came and admitted that group stalking at the Holiday Inn, terrorizing me. In doing so, all I'm going to do is expose you, and I'm going to prosecute you. And it's Providence that you know one less concealed domestic terrorist. That's what San Luis Obispo accomplished, coming and group stalking me in Hesperia, California. Okay, pointing the finger at the sheriff's departments in San Luis Obispo County and the police departments, because they have an intricate system, and that system includes every department, and the heads of those departments are demons who are engaging and abiding in a pattern of conduct. And that's how you're able to know all of that information at the same time. It is currently 7:54 p.m. This is prosecution for what is federal group stalking and monitoring, and that's a sex offense, while the people of the state are group stalking a woman in a hotel room, and that's exactly how the state's going to be prosecuted. And these are demons that are physically in the natural on surveillance cameras appearing. And this is what I mean on surveillance cameras, which is at the corner of this hallway. You're seeing people coming in and out of their hotel rooms. They're doing so with regard to knowledge about what I'm doing and what I'm documenting. And they're demons with corporate knowledge, maintaining corporate knowledge. And they're also demons acting in sync with those that are outside of the venue. Amplified audible activities occurring inside of the venue for purposes of criminal monitoring and federal stalking. All of this is supplementary to my documentation, the federal government's supplementary documentation, and the ability to study what the demon-possessed are doing with regard to the Satan's surveillance system. It is again 7:55 p.m. This is POC.